why don't we begin just by laying in our ground like we did for the other ones. I'm going to take my number 4 brush, wash it twice, do the same thing. And how about for this one, we're using the bottom rule of thirds line where we're kind of keeping it lower on our landscape. Okay, we are going to use the triangle again, but this time the triangle, when we put it down here, is actually giving the illusion that this is a road going off into the distance. Another thing to consider is take a look at how these lines are converging together. Anytime you have diagonal lines, especially when they converge together, you're quite literally directing their eye to that point. So this may be a really great spot for you to put like a little Easter egg or your subject or something that you want your viewers to look at. So I'm actually going to begin with the first diagonal line, and that is this blue mountainscape right here. So I'm going to go in with my blue first and add just a touch bit of orange. And it can be a little bit darker, meaning less water if you would like. And just find a place on the side here that you want to begin your mountain. And we can just bring it in to some point here, and it doesn't really matter. We can adjust it. It could be slightly different than the original one that I did. And if you want it to be more opaque, just go back in with a little bit more paint, less water. And I'm just gonna lay that in. Okay, now this one we're really talking about the converging lines. So even though this one is kind of pulling across further than I had in this one, this might be something fun that we can play with. And the reason why is overlapping can still draw the viewer's eye to a specific point. What I might want to do next is put the triangle in where the road is. And I'm just going to do a more brownish line. So I want a little bit more orange than I want blue. And I'm just going to, why don't we just try to keep it as center as possible? And I'm going to put this triangle in right about here and bring it to this point, even though it is not meeting here. So do that anyhow. If you want, dry your paintbrush and pull some of that color out so it's fainter, a little bit lighter as it goes off into the distance. Gives the illusion of depth. And we'll leave it kind of like that. So this is a good starting point. We have two shapes that are not necessarily meeting at a point. For the next one, what I may want to do is create an alternating mountain that may be kind of meeting here. And why don't we do that with a little bit of a browner, like kind of like a dark brown, not as blue as this one. And I'm just gonna try to start it about here and bring this mountain kind of going off this way. Again, we're creating this from our imagination, so you could really put them anywhere that you want. This is a great time to experiment with how you would create your pieces in real life, in like a real painting situation. They're starting to come together, but they're still not really quite meeting. If you wanted to play with that a little bit more, that would be more like it. So now, even though these lines are not intersecting at where the path is, we can start using this as our guide for the negative space to create a triangle as well, but pointing down in this direction. So why don't we do a few more mountains in the background, 1 or 2, and try to keep this as your goal to kind of make this point right here the center focus for your audience. And you can do that how you would like to. Another option that you may do is have your mountains overlapping and then have one in the center that kind of mimics the point here. All right, so this one, I'm just gonna kind of have it come up a little bit. And we'll do something like this. And we'll do another one. I'm just gonna use the same color, but more water. And that one is very faint, so I actually think I might go in one more time and make it a little bit more pigmented. And this is where you really want to like push and pull. This one is very dark. These two right here are almost too similar. So I'm going to darken this one here by going over with the exact same color and add a little bit more pigment to it. And it's just going to make it a little bit darker. That's better. And just for fun, I'm just going to add one more peak, but I'm going to keep it very transparent. I'm going to add some water to it and try to mimic the point of this one here. Again, this one now is a little bit too light, so I'm gonna go back in and adjust all the mountains that need to be adjusted. Let's see how that looks. It's coming together. All right, so we have repeating patterns. We have these shapes that are repeating, including the path. We have things that are warmer and more cooler in color, and we're kind of playing with how these shapes look together. I think it is good, and if we wanted to, we can add more orange to the bottom here to really even out the orange going back here, because it's almost too blue. That this path is looking a little bit too dark and pigmented, so I might go back in with a little bit more orange and bring it down here and just sort of even out and create some balance between the colors that we have as well. I think that's looking a little bit more cohesive. Okay, we're gonna let that dry and move on to our next one.